All right, guys, welcome back. Good morning. Welcome back to the podcast, back to Tomboy Official. It is bright and shining and cold. All right, so let's jump right in. So we're gonna talk about the next few pages of this BA Triangle book by Lilly Singh. And we're also gonna talk about some kind of examples relevant to kind of some of the stuff that was mentioned, and then I'll fill you in on my kind of day-to-day some good news. I feel like the efforts are paying off. So you guys know I have like a weird way of kind of doing these things, but I feel like the effort's paying off. So this morning I've kind of looked at pages 5, 6, and 7. Only really doing about 3 pages a day. She talks about having a self-help book called How to Be a Boss. Boss spelled BAWSE. And that mostly this book, the Be a Triangle book, is more so about how people can cope with, if their life isn't feeling too great or too good, just kind of finding reasons behind that, and hoping to get, some change from that process. And the book kind of mentions stuff that she's done, and what's kind of worked for her. So as I'm thinking about how I've been approaching my current situation, one thing that's kind of making it a little cool is that, because I've been recording so much about it, and I hope it's not too obnoxious, but it's I know I'm not the only one who's experiencing a lot of just weird kind of energy shifts and all kinds of just trying to figure it out. And it's I feel like there were kind of multiple years where a lot of us were kind of on autopilot, and to some extent maybe that helped, to not really have to challenge things and not really have to even worry. Those of us kind of raised in this country, a lot of us have it good. Not everybody has maybe wealth or a lot of security around them, but there are a lot of us who do have that or can get access to it. Not everybody's, starving for their next meal and just scrambling to kind of get fed and sheltered. I think, a lot of people, the majority of people, have that part figured out. And there's definitely a segment of the population that, doesn't quite have that figured yet, or has unfortunately fallen on hard times, and especially recently, that's kind of more of a theme. And everybody's type of hard times is different. Um, hmm, I'm drinking this yerba mate. Um, but yeah, so I would say it does help, to have a place to record kind of the process of things, even if it's just random notes, um, journaling, like things. I know people often are like, I don't like to journal, or I'm not gonna set aside time to like do this or do that and reflect. But I think, having some method of reflection doesn't only help with creating some kind of way to kind of track things, but then when you do get kind of like an uptick in energy, you can kind of remember a little bit better and be like, oh yeah, today I do significantly feel better from like that day or that day, and then like what was going on the days before and stuff. And I would say that's kind of been my experience this morning. I mean, I've barely been up for like an hour, but I mean, I woke up at like 6:15 a.m. ish. That's when I looked at the clock. I don't look at the clock right away. Um, Sometimes I'm like, let me see if I'm gonna get back to sleep. But I was kind of up, so I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna really look at the clock because I thought I might go back to sleep. And then I was like, it's hot, turn off the heater, and then I gotta go to the bathroom if I'm already up. And then it's like, then I'm like up. So like 6:15 a.m. I was up. It's 7:14 a.m. Well, just now 7:15 a.m. right now. Um, Monday morning after Super Bowl, and I would say that I had a decent day yesterday. But I did the things I was supposed to do, and I think that contributes too. I know that it's not always easy. Uh, a lot of us have difficulty kind of staying consistent and focusing and knowing when it's a good time to be inconsistent if we want or need that, and knowing kind of how to take that on. Like, inconsistent would be something like, for example, if you work a typical 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then you have weekends off, throwing off the 9 to 5 routine and having a different weekend schedule. Like, if you don't end up working weekends, or you might sleep differently, you might go out and stay out later than you normally would even be out. But even taking those little things into account and trying to see, does this affect me? Does this really affect me? Negatively, positively. Like for me, I've noticed, I like to go out, maybe have dinner, maybe go to a little party area of some form, but it's not out of the norm for me to duck out at like 9:30, 10:30 in the evening. Like, I don't always stay out till like midnight. I used to stay out till like, closing. Like, I haven't been at a club at like 2 a.m. in a while. Like, usually where I'm at, clubs close at like 2 a.m. Sometimes they'll close at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. if it's like a special event, like MLK Day kind of thing, or like something along those lines. They might stay open late. I don't know what the bars do, but that's another thing, like mentioning bars. Um, like, that's one thing that kind of does shift my energy that I had to learn. That I was like, if you want to wake up and go to the gym the next day, on a Sunday morning, it might not be ideal to go out till 2 or 3 in the morning and drink until 2 a.m. and then try to wake up, and get to the gym even by noon. It's like, I don't even know if that's going to happen, So, taking it down a notch on the drinking has really helped a lot. And just kind of ending my party time early. If I do drink, I mean, it kind of makes, if I'm gonna Uber anyways, it almost makes more sense for me to drink before I leave the house, um, before dinner. I mean, like, that might sound weird, but it's like, at least it's like 5 p.m. instead of like 2 a.m. So it's like, at least it'll be in my system earlier. I'll have a meal on top of it, and then, I can still hydrate and stuff throughout the night instead of like, just like understanding how a body responds to things. It's not, I'm not even like here to like tell everybody, okay, like you must be sober. Um, but also planning ahead helps. Just saying like while you're sober, while you're not having anything in your system before you started partying, just being like, okay, what's my plan for tomorrow? Because if you know what your plan is for the next day, you can kind of figure out what you're going to do that night or that day beforehand, and then kind of figure out, okay, so, if tomorrow, if it's going to be maybe like Monday the next day, and tonight's Super Bowl, and I got to work at 9, and I got to wake up at, I don't know what time people wake up, 6:30 a.m., and I gotta drive from 8 o'clock till 9:45. So from 8 o'clock to 8:45, I gotta get up early. I gotta start my day early. Um, what's gonna get me in bed on time to feel rested for work? Like, once you know what that looks like, you can kind of be like, okay, well, before that time, I've probably got to be fed and hydrated at least 2 hours before that. And before that time, I'm trying to like cram a party in there. And so, like, just trying to keep track of what that looks like. Like, okay, like I can eat the chips and the dip, but maybe cut off eating at like 8:45 p.m. or have my last drink at like 6 p.m. or like whatever, whatever that looks like, just so you can kind of like stay on a schedule even when you're partying. Like, if it has to come to that, because in my life it's kind of had to come to that, and that for me kind of works. The issue is, sometimes once the mind gets a little uninhibited or impaired somewhat, it's hard to kind of keep to the plan. I have a joke with some friends. At least we had one before. We were like, you got to stick to the plan. And we used to kind of, now that I'm remembering it, we kind of used to plan before we go out, like what we were gonna do, um, so that we kind of knew what it would look like. Like, it wasn't like hour by hour, like I was mentioning, but it's kind of like we kind of knew what was gonna happen, and so it didn't really matter who came, to, hang out, and like what they were up to and how they were doing and what was going on with them and their situation. It was like, well, we said we were going to go from this club and then go to that bar in an hour, so we're going to go do that now, and it's like, we kind of got into it that way. And yeah, there was a lot of spontaneity too. It wasn't all just like, let's plan every single thing, but I notice when I have trouble, that's one thing that really helps. Is trying to like get the plans down a little solidly, but being flexible too. I mean, not being too rigid, because you are trying to like unwind and party and have fun. And, a lot of us spend our whole lives in this like rigid kind of cage, it's like you don't want to be like too extreme, if you don't have to be. But that is one method that helps, is, I'd say the two things, the reflecting, like forcing yourself to kind of reflect on the previous day a little bit, and then planning out the current day, and then knowing what you have to do the next day. Like, those three pieces, the whole past, present, and future, even if it doesn't go exactly as planned, at least, you had something, that you were kind of going for, and you kind of knew where you're trying to go with it, versus like wing it every day. Wake up, wing it every day. Wake up, sleep until until a couple minutes before you gotta either get up or log into work, and then you don't have any time to really like process. You're like getting ready and stuff, and you have your probably morning routine, and you're getting to work or whatever, or school or whatever it may be, and you're kind of getting there. And then once you get there, you're going to be focused on work, and then after work, to try to trust yourself to have enough energy to actually do some kind of an unwinding kind of reflective task. Um, I mean, I always really liked a buffer between, work and home. I never really liked to go straight home. I always had, you know how sometimes you have to do errands and stuff. So whether it's like a car wash or get a couple groceries or, um, you know, just like something I have to do that's for myself, that's for my own health, well being, self care, cleanliness, whatever it may be, just taking care of my own stuff a little bit after work, because it's like I spent all day taking care of everybody else's problems. That was the role of the job, was, that. And so, you know, I was like, well, I can't slack on taking care of myself. And that is kind of been the theme for me, is like, I'm good at taking care of other people. That's easy for me. It's a little harder for me to take care of myself the same way I take care of other people. Like, I don't put that much care into it sometimes, and I'm kind of slacking on stuff and a little lazier on other stuff. And while that can be good, I can't consistently be that way. And just trying to get out of a rut once I get into one, that alone is just one of the bigger challenges that I tend to face, is like, well, I got to get out of this rut, just so I can actually get the momentum and motivation and movement to kind of like push, every day. So the hardest part, I think, too, is like once you find yourself in a rut and everything's hard, it's like it's hard to wake up because you're tired, you're fatigued, you don't sleep well, and then you wake up and you got to start your day, and then it's hard to focus, and it's hard to have energy. And then if you have too much caffeine, you might be really unfocused, and you might have way too much energy. For me, I get really bad caffeine crashes, and so not only would I have bad energy, but I'd have bad energy on top of being like irritable and already fatigued before that. The coffee and all that is a band-aid to the solution, to the bigger problem. It's a band-aid. It's not a full solution. Um, you can't really solve fatigue and insomnia with caffeine. Like, but, sometimes you can use the momentum from certain things just to push. So it's like, okay, if I only got 4.5 hours of sleep, and then I wake up and push this coffee, I could probably, cram in a workout before work, and then that'll probably help me sleep better at night. And then I'll go to work, and I might just, crush it at work still, or not, but I might crush it at work still. But I do remember being at work and being like really foggy sometimes, and being like, man, I do not feel on my A game. And I would go to work and I would be like, I don't even know if I can think straight or do like decent sessions, because my energy just, you know, I, I just can't focus. It's hard for me to process things. It's hard for me to like have responses to people like in a conversation. Um, and trying to deal with that and cope with all that. And then after work, of course, after work, nobody's going to feel way better after work. You still got to get home, have dinner, um, and then, all the stress of the day is still going to be on a person. And then having to go from all that stress of the day to try to unwind, um, you know, uh, and kind of do whatever the evening routine looks like. And then there's usually going to be some kind of a night routine to help with sleeping better. So, if there's no routines in place, I'm noticing. Like, it's not that I don't know these things. It's just, I will honestly say that I don't always practice them because I know that I can push. I mean, that's how I got myself as far as I did, was basically like forcing myself to push past all the uncomfortable things. Like, I don't want to study, I'm going to study anyways. I don't want to, work, I'm going to go to work anyways. And like, I got so good at just like pushing, and just ignoring all the like signs that, my body and mind would be like, hey, we're fatigued over here. Hey, we need a break over here. Hey, you need to sleep on time over here. You need to eat properly and exercise, And it's like, for me, I mentioned it, I think, yesterday, that, for me, lately, I'm just only really trying the basics. Sleep well, exercise, eat good. I'm only trying to do the basics right now. I'm not even trying to do anything else. I'm doing the reflecting, I'm doing the to-do list, so that kind of keeps me somewhat organized, and kind of having a routine where it's like, I've kind of tweaked my routine a little bit, so I can go through my routine as it is now. Weekends are different from weekdays, and sometimes I have a weekday that I kind of do whatever I want to do. So, usually Wednesday, I usually have, okay, so when I talk about maybe like a Monday, today's Monday, so, and I gotta write my to-do list as I'm talking about this, but, so Monday, usually is one of my higher energy days because I usually have a whole weekend right beforehand. And so I do feel better energy today. I guess to talk about Monday, I should talk about yesterday. So what I did yesterday, I basically did podcasting, went to the gym, after breakfast, but I didn't have breakfast till like about 9. Went to the gym, got back from the gym after like about an hour-ish of being there. But then I went to the bookstore as well and picked up this Lilly Singh book, and then got home. I was home like probably around 12:45 or so p.m., but didn't really start having lunch till maybe like almost 2 p.m., like let's say 1:45 p.m., because I threw some clothes in the laundry and took a shower. And I had my protein shake already prepared. Let me open this window. I like some fresh morning air, even though it's freezing cold. And yeah, basically I chilled. I did watch a little Super Bowl here and there. I was popping in and out, and before that I don't know, I think I was podcasting a little bit after I ate lunch. And Sundays I try to get sun sometime after lunch, so I was kind of outside for about maybe an hour getting some fresh air. It was cloudy, so I wouldn't say there was too much sun. It was cloudy, cold, windy, so I was mostly in the car with the windows up because it was actually too cold for me. And after I work out, I do kind of get cold for a while, a little bit. I don't know why. But I feel like the days when I have a good workout, that's kind of what my body does especially when I have like C4 in my system. But I did get a good workout. I had a lot of caffeine in my system yesterday, and I got a really good workout in. It felt really good. I was able to really do well. I feel it today, but I actually feel like a decent muscle pump today. I'm a little sore, but not so sore that I'm gonna avoid the gym today. Um, and I had a good self care routine going on yesterday. I got a little bit of work done. Like I did some podcasting, I did some photos, and some kind of next steps brainstorming. I did that last night as well as this morning. I do my best brainstorming early in the morning. So before I started recording for this podcast, I was brainstorming about something else, and I was able to do that at like 6:15 in the morning. Like just kind of focus my attention onto something. And I woke up and I did realize I was feeling pretty positive this morning. That is almost like a new experience for me, like which is almost sad to say, but it's like I woke up feeling good this morning. Yesterday I was feeling pretty good too. I had way too much caffeine in my system from the yerba mate and the C4. I would say I had about 70 milligrams worth of caffeine from the yerba mate and about did I have a half a scoop yesterday? I feel like it was a little less than half a scoop of the C4. I feel like it was like a little under 100 milligrams of caffeine. I try to keep under 200 for a day. And yeah, so then I basically started relaxing around just before 9 p.m. So it was 8 something. I was trying to relax. I ate a really light dinner. I ate something weird. I didn't really eat like the healthiest of dinners, but breakfast was healthy, lunch was healthy. For lunch I had salad and some chicken, and dinner I was gonna have these lentils. They were way too spicy, so I ate as much as I could. And then I just had half of a pack of top ramen or instant ramen or whatever it was called. And I mean, it was like, it was enough to get me through the night. There was a point where I was like maybe a little, I can't tell if it was a little hungry or my stomach was maybe a little weird because of the lentils, because of the spice. But I only had one experience where my stomach was feeling weird. Um, I kind of did this whole like turn out the lights, light this candle because I kind of like the lower light instead. And I was listening to a lot of ASMR videos, probably like over an hour, honestly. Like I was listening to that and uh, enjoying listening to that and just yeah, trying to sleep early, just keeping my thoughts kind of relaxed. And I was kind of sampling some software before I went to sleep, and so it wasn't before I started all the like candle and relaxing videos and that kind of stuff. I was sampling software, so it wasn't anything too, you know, stimulating. I wanted to listen to music last night. That was something around like 8:30. I was like, oh, it would be cool to turn on some jams and like listen to some music. But I get really hyped up with the music I listen to, and I always say that I'm gonna go from calm, like maybe some like R&B kind of stuff, and then just like, not turn it into like some other, not really like turn on some other type of music. but I don't really do that too easily, and I usually end up going from like really soft music like Sade or something, and then next thing I know, I'm like pumping up the jam, So, and then I can't sleep because I'm too hyped up. And so I just avoided it altogether because I noticed every single time I tell myself that I'm going to do it one way, I end up doing it another way. Um, and I, uh, I, um, my, so one of my fitness goals is to get to the afterburn effect. I haven't really reached it yet, but I feel like I'm almost there. Like my body can handle workouts now. I do kind of feel like, ooh, I might get injured, so I'm a little worried. Um, like every time I feel like a little discomfort in a joint or something, I'm like this morning, my shoulder felt a little tight, and I was like, oh no, I'm injured, but I don't think I am. Um, Today's gonna be an upper body cardio and upper body day, so I gotta get on it. Um, so my to-dos for today, were, do the morning, caffeine at sunrise kind of. I think sunrise was like 6:40 something a.m. So I started drinking a little yerba mate at that time, knowing that I'm gonna drink some C4 same day, but I know that's not recommended, but I had how much of this? Like half, so about 35 to 50 milligrams of this yerba mate worth of caffeine. Um, and, I'll go to the gym again today. Like I said, it's going to be cardio and upper body today. And, so let me see. Yeah, I'm going to do cardio, upper body, and I don't know. I mean, I'll go to the gym after breakfast, and so that was pretty much how I'm waking up in the morning, is to have the caffeine, have the water next to me as well. So I had a bottle of water and then some of another bottle and of water, and then read the 3 pages of that book, do some podcasting until breakfast, pretty much, and then eat breakfast, have some C4 with the breakfast, and then get on with my day. So, yeah, C4 with the breakfast and kind of get on with it. So that's kind of how I'm rolling today. Today's breakfast is going to be the same breakfast as yesterday. Eggs, oats, fruit, avocado, tons of types of salsa. I like the tomatillo verde. It's like this green salsa that's just roasted. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then also some pico on the side with avocado, eggs. I would like toast, but I'm gonna start being a little bit of a nut. I noticed that some of the foods I've been eating are kind of like intestinally not helpful for me. So I'm actually gonna start eating, like, I don't know how to describe this, but I mean, no like shade towards my family, but I'm a little bit of a snob with food quality. I feel like Sprouts and Whole Foods I mean, Whole Foods is gonna break the bank, but the quality's good, and Sprouts is a lot more affordable. I feel like Sprouts is an affordable food option uh, for the health food, for healthy, good quality food that doesn't make me feel ill, and it's not overly priced. And so that's kind of what I'm gonna go for. Um, so, I'm choosing oats over toast because the oats are just organic oats versus the bread. If you know the brand First Street, that's the brand. Um, a lot of our shopping is from Smart and Final, which is fine, but it's like it's not organic. Does that make a difference? I don't really know, but there's also a lot of little things that I'm trying to cut down. So, I mean, we've got like a whole new jar of candy chocolates, basically, like not even like the great kind. Like dark chocolate is, it's okay or whatever, but it's mostly just like milk chocolate, like those Good Bars and Hershey's and Kit Kats and Kisses and that kind of stuff. I already ate two. Um, Not today, but I ate one Saturday at some time and then one on Sunday. So I would say I had one last week, one this week. And like I mentioned, I did have a day last week, I think, where I ate like those mini Cliff Bars and like chips for dinner. So it's like I don't want to have these weird snack dinners, you know what I mean? Um, I did get some Perfect Bars, so those are kind of my go-to. Even though they're really high calorie, I can still eat like half of one of those. They're like over 300 calories for one. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of my focus is going to be the just like eating healthy. Um, for lunch, I don't know exactly what I'm having. I'm gonna have a protein shake. Probably the chicken and the salad again. A different salad. I don't know how much I really need to eat for lunch because with the protein shake added, it's like a lot. And I'm gonna eat a big breakfast. Like the breakfast is like pretty large. Yesterday it got me through my workout routine just fine, and I felt good pretty much. It held me. It held me all the way from like 9 to uh, like 1:30, 1:45 or something. So it held me most of the afternoon. Um, and yeah, it was good to go, and I felt good about it. So I don't really know exactly what today is gonna look like, but um, I don't know. I might play around on a treadmill. I haven't done that in a really long time. Uh, I don't really know yet, but I might. I'm not sure. I feel like that might be the best thing for me to do. It's just to get on a treadmill today. Uh, and I don't know. I prefer cycling to treadmills, but um, treadmills are good too. Um, my upper legs need all the help for the strength that I'm trying to get. That's mostly what I need is that, but you can't just like spot train certain areas of the body. Like that's not gonna work. So it's good to do everything to kind of get everything in shape. So Um, I will say that I'll probably be at the gym. Uh, I don't know what time. Uh, Because it kind of works for the routine to be at the gym around 10, if that makes sense. Um, and shoot, because I threw a bunch of stuff in the laundry. I now don't know what I actually have for clothes. Um, I need to dry my clothes. So that's what I'm gonna have to do first is laundry, and then just the drying part. I hang my stuff out to air dry, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna, you know, eat breakfast shortly afterwards, and I'll have the C4. Do I want it with breakfast like I did yesterday? I think I'm starting a little earlier today, so I don't know. I usually give it about 45 minutes to sink in or so. But I don't know. I'll see. It might actually be better for my productivity for today. I hate that word so much, but it might be better if I get to the gym around 10. Um, that'll give plenty of time for my um, everything to kind of settle. And then again, I shoot for about 90 minutes. So I would be shooting to be home heading home around 11:30, and then by the time I get showered and situated, it would be lunchtime. Um, we'll say noon is going to be lunch, and I'll have that chicken and salad with it, and I'll see if I add a tamale or not. Um, I'll probably have a banana too, and a protein shake. That's a lot for lunch, actually. Um, but that's probably what I'll eat. And, I'll space it out if I can't eat at all. And then I'm basically working on a website from that point on. So I'll probably do like 1 p.m. on um, just web stuff pretty much until dinner. Like, I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner. Maybe tamales. I don't have a lot of food options right now because I'm trying to finish eating some of the stuff I already bought. Um, but I'm trying to be a little careful on the carbs. Like, I'm not trying to not eat carbs. I'm just trying not to overdo it with the sugar breakdowns. Um, I'm trying to control my sugar intake, which means carbs. And so I'm trying to choose my carb times wisely based on when I need the energy. I feel like if I have carbs during lunch, I'll have an energy crash. But I don't know, because if I have C4 in my system, I probably won't have a crash. In all honesty, I'll probably be pretty hyped up as usual. So this seems like a good schedule for me. Like 1 p.m. web stuff, probably until about 5 p.m. I could see if I feel like squeezing in some yoga today, but I don't know. But I mostly just want to write. Um, so I think before I do the web stuff, sometime after lunch, I'm going to plan the rest of what I'm actually going to do online. And then probably get to it around 1:30. So I'm not really doing anything this morning but eating and working out. So it gives me plenty of time. But I mean, like, I know it's hard for me to I can't even compare my schedule to anybody else's because I've got all the time in the world. I could do this schedule. I could not do this schedule. I could push it all the way to do it, change it and do it at like 8 p.m. at night. But I'm trying to take advantage of carbs and caffeine, uh, take that to my advantage to do what I need, to exercise and all that kind of stuff. Um, and to make sure that I sleep well again, because I did sleep pretty good. And I don't know if I mentioned, I think I mentioned, but I've got this combo of that I'm kind of using where there's caffeine to get my energy up, but then, cannabis to get my energy in a mode where I can sleep. So I don't want to leave that out. I'm not just like completely rested at night and being like, okay, like I'm completely rested. Like I do have like a sleep aid. Like I'm not just like falling asleep just like naturally. And so yeah, that's kind of what I'm gonna get up to today. Um, can't believe tomorrow's gonna be Valentine's Day. It's crazy, but I gotta get on this laundry so I can get into breakfast, and then I'll get out of the house and over to the gym, and try to stay on schedule at least, somewhat. Um, but yeah, for now, I guess that's it for me. Um, and just kind of that scheduling, the reflection, the current day's to-do list, and kind of like the planning for tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's probably going to look a lot like today. Um, I'm going to see if I can keep up this routine kind of during this week. Let's see. I mean, it would only be 5 days of doing this. So if I can do this for like the next 5 days, um, I might see some good results from it. Um, I do significantly feel better compared to the days where I didn't work out. There were quite some few consecutive days that I didn't work out, and I don't think I felt good. And today I feel much better, so I'm glad about that. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm gonna keep up with. And I'll see. I'm about to get going. It's gonna be 8 o'clock in a couple minutes, and so I gotta get my laundry out to dry, and then whip up some breakfast and get on with my morning, so that I can get going and properly caffeinated and hydrated and everything to get through this first phase of the day. We're just taking it morning to afternoon at this point. Breakfast to lunch, pretty much, and seeing what needs to be readjusted from there. But it's kind of all I'm doing. I'll feel better and more energetic once I eat. I am feeling a bit of an energy dip right now, but it's because I've been up for over an hour, almost 2 hours. Haven't really eaten anything either. So, of course, that throws me off a little. But I do like having early mornings without a lot of food in my system. Um, it's kind of like a morning fasting period. And I don't like to eat too early because then it throws my eating off for later in the day. And I don't like to wake up. Like I know my brother, when he was in town, he was cooking breakfast at like 6:30 in the morning. Like I don't want to be up that early trying to eat something, because then I'm gonna naturally want to just wake up that early and eat, and I don't want to be hungry at 6 in the morning. But I'm usually eating close to now, so other than yesterday when I ate late at 10, but today I'm up earlier and I feel good. I don't feel, I didn't have any weird stomach issues other than the fact that, what I ate with that spice and everything, it cleared itself. So, I don't know, spice is good. It can be good for things like that too. So it was kind of like there was like a health benefit to it, but I didn't actually eat a healthy dinner. Um, Instant ramen is not healthy, but I only ate half of it. But I ate lentils, so it was like a really weird combination of food. Um, I didn't eat them together. I ate them like separately, like about 30 minutes apart. But I need some real breakfast because I'm actually hungry. So I'm gonna go do that, and then um, if I have more to say, I'll record more. But for now, thanks for listening.